Kia ora everyone. Welcome to the ACE RMO 2024 Waikato webinar. My name is Georgina. I'm the ACE RMO consultant. So we're going to start off with an opening karakia and then I'll give everyone a brief outline of today's webinar.
Kia ora, I'm Nan. E te atua mana ki mai. E te atua awhina mai. E te atua aroha mai. Ake, ake, amen. Oh God, bless us. Oh God, help us. Oh God, shower us with love forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. That was really lovely. So thank you everyone for taking the time to join today's webinar. We'll move on to the panelists' introductions very shortly, and then we'll have an exciting video for you to watch, which is followed by a presentation presented by our panelists. And then our RMO rep will tell you a bit more about their experiences as a PGY1 at Waikato Hospital. Towards the end of the webinar, we will have a live Q&A session, and finally, we'll close off with a closing karakia. So just a reminder, all questions can be dropped in the chat box below. You'll see a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. So you can do that throughout the webinar. So don't wait until the very end of the webinar. So please feel free to drop any questions you have. But these questions will only be answered towards the end of the webinar during the Q&A session.
Kia ora everyone, my name is Marlene Hansen and I am the RMO Recruitment Coordinator. So I'll be your first point of contact. But once you get sent to us, then I'll be your first person of contact. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou. My name is Nand Kejriwal. I'm Director of Surgical Training and Educational Supervisor.
Kia ora, I'm Tina. I'm the manager for the RMO unit.
Kia ora, I'm Bernadette. I'm one of the house officers. I'm PGY3 at the moment, and I'm the chief house officer for the surgical department.
Thank you. So now we'll go ahead and watch the video.
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm a current PGY2 at Waikato Hospital. I trained at Auckland University and I grew up here in the mighty Waikato.
My name's Dylan. I'm one of the second year house officers working here at Waikato Hospital. I'm from Ngaruawa here. Grew up in the Waikato and trained up in Auckland.
So currently I'm working as a urology house officer, which is a pretty fantastic role here. It means I get lots of opportunity to go to clinics, theatre, ED and do procedural lists. I wanted to get a broad experience and I wanted the opportunity to do subspecialty runs. Waikato is one of the largest teaching hospitals in New Zealand and they offer lots of specialised runs you might not get to do at other places. For instance, this year I'm doing urology, ENT and vascular jobs, all of which have reputations as fantastic learning opportunities for house officers.
When it comes to specific things about our hospital, if that's sort of the motivating factor for why you want to choose a specific hospital to work at, Waikato's got some real cool draw cards in that sort of pool. It's got a real neat balance of urban and rural patients.
It's also just been accredited as the first level 1 major trauma unit in New Zealand, so there's a lot of really fantastic opportunity here.
Other things to think about would be like, how long do you want it to take you to get to work? I remember when I was studying it took me like 45 minutes to get to work, and here halfway across town takes me like 10 to 15.
PGY1 was a busy year. There's a huge patient load here, so you've got to hit the ground running. The out of hours work can be really hard, but there's always support from registrars and SMOs. You're never left by yourself. And because you're exposed to such huge patient loads, you learn really quickly. Because it's the only tertiary centre for the entire Mid-North Island, we see a really wide range of cases and some pretty unique and interesting presentations of uncommon diseases.
Waikato Hospital has got this sweet balance between being just big enough that you get awesome exposure to specialties, which I reckon is real neat getting some experience in some of these different specialties, be it surgical, be it medical. but it's also just small enough that you get to know all of the RMOs here. I feel like we get to bond, get to hang out, meet each other in the RMO lounge or down at the cafeteria, and you do get a good sense of community.
Last year I got really into snowboarding since we're so close to the mountain. That's got to be one of my new favourite hobbies to have picked up. I love the beach. Raglan's so close and it's so beautiful, and there's just endless amounts of beautiful walks and waterfalls nearby, and yeah, a lot of awesome outdoor stuff to do down here.
One of the things that really sticks out to me about this hospital, especially when I hear about other people from other hospitals, and one of the things I'm proud about from here is that this hospital's made huge progress. Some of the lowest polling runs from house officers have just skyrocketed in their polls over the last, say, 2 to 3 years because of the hard work and dedication of the people above us in sort of management roles who are working hard to make the house officer job better. To know that my DHB cares enough for me, that it's willing to do this across multiple specialties is just amazing. And also to know that I can advertise to you guys that you could spend your first year working here as a house officer and that people would care about you and about how your experience is going to be, and that if you had feedback that it would be listened to. That's huge, and I really value that about here.
Oh, I hope everyone enjoyed that. Apologies, we had a bit of a technical moment there. We'll move on to the presentation now.
Thank you. Right, everyone, welcome to Waikato District Hospital, and I'm going to just hand this over to Tina that will do the opening for us.
Hi everyone. So we're going to whiz through this presentation. We're not going to cover everything that's on the slides, but we've gathered a whole lot of statistical data which hopefully will be of interest to you that you can review post the presentation. But some of the things that we're going to cover today, we're going to do the welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about our campus, about our RMO unit. We'll talk a little bit about the PGY1 teaching, some of the clinical attachments associated with our PGY1s, what our PGY2 year is like. We'll talk about the preference selections and the recruitment process. So a few fast facts about Waikato. As you heard in the video, we're actually really nicely located. We're central to lots and lots of things. We're actually not that far away from Auckland, and even closer to Auckland than we used to be with the lovely motorway that's there. Rotorua's just over an hour away. The east and west coasts are sort of an hour and a half to the east coast, about 45 minutes to Raglan. Waitomo Caves is about an hour down the road, and a couple of hours down the road we've got some fabulous mountains which are just there for hiking in the summer, skiing in the winter. In 2020 we were crowned as the most beautiful large city, and have a fabulous Hamilton Gardens, which is actually world recognised for its beauty. We've got 3 international sporting venues, so we see quite a bit of cricket, quite a bit of rugby league here. Our population is continuously growing, currently at around 185,000, and we're currently the fastest growing city in New Zealand. I think one of the things that's really exciting about Hamilton is that we have a large industrial hub out by the university that's bringing some very large international businesses into Hamilton. So that's helping us with our population growth. In terms of demographics, New Zealand European make up 3/4 of the population, and around about 19% of our population in Hamilton is Māori. And there are 160 ethnicities in Hamilton, so we're a real United Nations. And of course that plays a significant part in the demographics of the patients we see. The climate's mild and moderate. We get reasonable rainfall, and the areas are very green. Sadly, we're also known for our winter fog, but don't hold that against us. And we're the home to the Chiefs, go the mighty Chiefs, and there are many other attractions in our region. Unity?
So the Waikato District campus, it's based on Hamilton, but it's under the Waikato District. There are other small hospitals, which are like the Thames Hospital, the Tokoroa Antiquity. It's a teaching hospital and the major tertiary referral center, and it provides specialized and emergency healthcare for the Te Manawataki region. And it is the only major district in New Zealand to offer all surgical specialties on one campus, and is a major trauma hospital for the Te Manawataki region. So the action never stops here. There are around 600 hospital beds, and on top of that, 200 are in mental health. And we have 14 interesting community-based attachment sites. These include like sexual health, mental health crisis team, and alcohol as well. As a PGY1, you will work mainly at the Waikato Hospital site. And the district offers well-structured and well-planned postgraduate training for the PGY1 house officers. And there are lots of new projects currently underway. There are new constructions on the area. We have a new renal unit and a new mental health unit. And there are just so many reasons why you should choose Waikato Hospital.
Okay, so the catchment number for Waikato District, that is Te Manawataki, is about 1 million. And this includes 27% Maori and 43 local iwi groups. Next, our beds. Next slide, please. So we have got about 550 funded inpatient in Waikato Hospital, and plus other beds used for mental health, LBS unit, etc. And as Bernadette has said, we have got regional hospitals. So total beds in Waikato districts are over 1,044 to be exact. We have got in the hospital 24 main theaters, then we have got procedure rooms, 4 cath labs, where we do highly skilled procedure, including structure heart, endoscopy suites. There is a mistake there, time should not be there. But last year we treated more than 34,000 operations, surgical operations were performed last year, 34,000. And we have a large emergency department, and average daily presentations are over about 300. That includes our regional hospital. We call them team hospitals, Tamaroi, Kekuti, Thames, and Tikoroa. The PGY teaching, we have protected time for teaching every Tuesday afternoon. When we have teaching where somebody will mind your pager, you won't be disturbed unless it is an emergency, and it is taken by senior doctors or advanced trainees. We support the staff for all educational needs. We also run skill lab training sessions where we teach suturing, oral aspirations, lumbar puncture, and ultrasound, etc. And we've got a well-stocked library on site.
Right, in terms of the recruitment and the rostering, so we have a number of rosterers, one that does the surgical side of things, and the other one does the medical side of things, and then we also have a separate one for ICU. In terms of the PGY selection process, that goes via me. So I'm your first point of contact for that. On the day of orientation, we have a coterie, and it's quite an extensive orientation. And usually what we do is we have a week before the quarter starts, we actually let all the PGY1s, the successful PGY1s, start with us. So it's a whole week worth of orientation. They also do some team building, so it's quite fun as well. It's not just all formal. Allocation of house officer clinical attachments. During the selection or after we've given you your letter of offer, there will be a process where I give you the opportunity to choose your clinical attachment. It's like in a way of streams, and you get allocated after that, and you'll get another letter to confirm what your attachments are for that here. Right. And also the rosters, they manage the leave and also the relief pools. So they play a major part in your contact and when you want to apply for leave and all those types of things. But that will be just explained to you on the orientation week. Okay. I'm just trying to, there we go, the next one. So the RMO support services. So we, again, we are the RMO support unit is basically a one-stop shop. We provide a whole lot of services other than just onboarding. We will be walking and experiencing this journey with you for the next 2 years. So we are a number of recruiters, and you've got 2 recruiters dedicated just to the house officers. That's myself and Ekaram Jones. And if you've got any general queries, we usually are quite good at that, and we try and get it out as soon as possible. We also have the RMO expense claims, which is also done by one of my team members. Leave requests, like I've mentioned earlier, and educational, medical leave, bereavement leave, and so forth. Those are all done by the rosterers. And we also have a good support structure for doctors in terms of the doctor's health and well-being. So we provide pastoral care and all those type of things, which you guys will actually get to know us quite intimately and quite personally. Looking forward to it.
So the chief house officers and the RMO council. So my role is to help support the junior doctors, to help advocate for them, maybe for claims or roster issues, education, and any form of guidance. And if house officers need to raise any concerns, and to be able to represent the RMO council as well. So like a liaison officer between the 2 parties. You can go to the next. So we have lots of facilities for the RMOs. We have a lounge here that is quite large. It has comfortable lazy boys, around 4 of them. It has a Sky TV, which has lots of movies and sports and computers. There are 2 computers in the RMO lounge. So if you need to do some work on long days, you can head there, or on nights as well. There is a kitchen as well with basic facilities, and frozen meals are kept there. You can make your own coffee or make some tea. You can heat up your food. And there are a number of sleep rooms on that area with beds. I think there are around 4 rooms, and each of them have separate doors, and there's a bathroom in the site as well. For the next slide. We have other amenities on site. We have, if you get hungry, you can have a bite at the Upper Deck Cafe. It has a really nice view of the Hamilton Lake on a good day. There's like alfresco sitting. There's an Upper Deck Cafe as well with a wide selection of delicious meals, coffee, and we have meals that cater for all vegans, vegetarians, and meat lovers alike. There are probably like 3 or 4 coffee shops in the hospital. One of them is outside, which you need to cross the road, but they also have really good coffee. RMO social, so our favorite is always the Hamilton Lake. It's just a short distance away, and it's popular for all forms of jogging and walking. You can walk your dogs there. It's around 3 kilometers. It takes you probably around 45 or to an hour, and they have their own coffee shop as well. We can find balance via social networking, unwind with colleagues at the local watering hole. Lots of fun activities. I see there are lots of local gyms here. We are quite near to Raglan, so lots of places for surfing or swimming. We're also near Tauranga, which is also awesome for swimming and walking on the mount. There are lots of walks around Pirongia area. You can climb the Hakari Maras and even go to cafes in Cambridge, which is really cool. And after dark, there are lots of bars or clubs in town. Really like Mr. Pickles, Craft is really good, and Gothenburg as well. For brunches, Hayes Common is great. And we have lots of like Asian restaurants, Korean, Vietnamese, and European choices, depending on what you want.
Right, back to the ACE recruitment process. So after the ranking and selection, the completion of that, ACE will notify all the applicants simultaneously via an email whether you've been successful or not in your chosen first choice. We have different dates, and apologies, I see I've left 2023, it should actually be 2024, but the dates are correct. So the 2nd of September, the offer letters gets emailed. On the 9th of September is the deadlines for candidates to actually return those acceptance. And then on the 10th, the national talent pool will open. So all the unmatched candidates will go there, and if we have any, basically any vacancies available, we'll reach out to the candidates that's in that talent pool. We also hired directly from ACE talent pool for any candidates that withdraw or decline, draw or decline and offer with us. Those will all go back into the talent pool, so that will create a vacancy, and then we will just go, reach out to the people in the talent pool. So it officially starts, the new year will start on the 6th of January, quite early this year, of which the first week is a compulsory induction. So we do require all our successful candidates to please join for the induction. It's a full week, and it is quite intensive as well. You get all your training in that week. And then Q1 officially starts on the 13th of January 2025. These are all the various clinical attachments that are available within Waikato. I'm sure you all can just have a look through those, and that will be part of the streams that you will be given to indicate your preference. The next slide is actually what the streams look like. So you have the different quarters, and we have ensured that most of these have got 2 medical and 2 surgical runs. So you'll see the ones in pink as typically your medical runs, and then the ones in green as your surgical runs. You will get, this is what the preference would look like, and you're going to have to indicate, maybe your first top 5 preferences, and then return it to us after we've offered you the job. And I think that's the end of our slideshow.
Thank you so much. So next up, we'll just get our RMO rep to tell us a little bit more about what a typical day would be like at Waikato Hospital, and any tips and advice that you would like to provide for our applicants.
Hi, Regina. So a typical day starts with meeting up with your team. Usually for the surgical teams, they meet at 7:30. For the medical ones, they meet at 8 a.m. So you pretty much look at the list, see the new patients first, and then you see your older patients next. So it's really good time for learning, because usually you're around with a registrar, which is a senior, and then you also round with an SMO, so it's the senior medical officer. So you see all the patients, and then you also sometimes head to ED if they're still stuck there. And then you carry out your jobs, which is usually doing discharge summaries. You can do referrals, so these are email or phone call referrals. You can request the bloods, request imaging for the patients, and all the in-between jobs. So you are very much guided by your registrar. And if you have any further questions, the SMOs are always available if you need them for any theoretical questions or any practical questions. In the wards, we have really helpful nurses, and our multidisciplinary team is just amazing. So we have really good physiotherapists, occupational therapists, we have social workers, we have dietitians. So all the resources that you need are available for the patient, from the time they arrive and from the time they exit the hospital. Even the attendants are really friendly. So everyone's really working for the best interest of the patient. So you always run by things with your registrar, and they also get you coffee. So that's one of our things here, the coffee culture. So that's our thing. Then sometimes you even have lunch together. So that's pretty much how a day looks like. If you're in a surgical ward, you have a lot of chance to do procedures. So it's not just IV lines or NGTs. It's usually endoscopies. You can observe them, and you can also assist in theater, like an orthopedic theater or a general surgery case. So there's lots of opportunities for learning, and every day looks different. That's why it's exciting. It's always a challenge every day, and you can just make new friends along the way, and then you earn the respect of your seniors as well. So as Anand has mentioned earlier, we have protected teaching time. So that's a good hour or 2 hours where you're allowed to just relax and then forget about work in the meantime, and you get lots of teaching from different registrars or SMOs. So these are varied, it can be medical, surgical, emergency, obstetrics and gynecology, or even pediatrics. So everyone is involved. And even your own department would have their own teaching. Like cardiology has their own teaching time, general medicine, urology. So everyone has their own teaching. So you're going to be bombarded with teaching, but it's all very interesting. So a lot of it is also self-guided. So you have to be, you have to present yourself. You have to, manage your time well, and make a really good schedule. So you're going to be efficient with your patients, at the same time learn a lot. So day typically ends at 4 to 5 p.m. Unless you're on long day, which means you're on call from 4 p.m. to 10 in the evening. And then you can hand over to the night shift. So as PGY1s, in the first 6 months, you don't need to do any night shifts. So don't think about that for now. So it's pretty much just short days, 8 to 4, long days up to 10 p.m. And on weekends, there's also an on-call 8 to 10 or an 8 to 4 house officer. So you pretty much just learn how to work together. Lots of them about teamwork, and of course respect each other, and just make teamwork makes the dream work. So that's pretty much how a day looks like.
Oh, thank you so much. Very detailed. Okay, question time. We've got one question. How many positions are offered in Hamilton?
I'll answer that one. So basically, we have 50 positions that was available for ACE applicants for last year, and I'm pretty sure it will be the same this year.
Oh, thank you. How does the interview selection process work?
So there's not necessarily an interview selection process. ACE does all the groundwork for us. And then what happens is you'll get an opportunity, the applicant will get an opportunity to list the top, I think it's top 3 or top 5 districts that they would like to go and work at. A list gets sent to us, and then we also get to look at the applicants, and we get to do I don't want to say selection process, but it's a scoring process of the different applicants, and then there will be a match that ACE facilitates, and then a list goes out to all the DHBs of who these your new candidates are that we need to offer.
Thanks, Marlene. Do you allow late starters?
So, under very exceptional circumstances, yes, but it's not advisable, because we would like to be, everybody, all the new candidates that start, they actually form, I want to say a group, and they kind of like get to know one another, and it's like that first day excitement, but it's actually really important for the ACE candidates to start. They have to come for the orientation. That is, I can't emphasize that enough, because if they come in at a later stage, they get literally a half-day induction, and we can't cram everything possibly in what we do in a week and a half a day. So it kind of like, and then also what I have found is that the late starters then have to do like catch up a lot, and sometimes it's a new environment, and so only under very exceptional circumstances will we consider it.
Oh, thanks, Marlene.
I just want to re-emphasise what Marlene has said. The 1 week of orientation is comprehensive, it's detailed, it's designed to set our PGY1 doctors up for success, and it is a great opportunity for learning without the pressure of having to be responsible for clinical duties. So it is a really, really important week, and as Marlene has also said, it's also a great week for collegial bonding. We do some fun team building stuff, but actually it's getting to know the colleagues that you're going to work with across the coming years. So yeah, I can't emphasise enough how valuable that first week is, and yeah, we do not encourage people to start late. I think there was one that we gave an exception to this week, but even that person came to orientation. That was a young lady that was due to have a wee one. She came for orientation and then she went off and had bubby.
Thank you, Tina. Are the 50 PGY1 positions enough for rapidly growing population?
That's a hard question to answer. The answer is that if you talk to any doctor, you'll probably hear that actually we could benefit from more doctors at all levels. Yes, we are a rapidly growing population and we do need to grow our doctor base. But we do have enough doctors to serve. As the video said, and as Bernadetta said, it's a very busy hospital with very busy roles, and when you arrive at Waikato, you have to be prepared for a high patient load and a lot of hard work.
And the numbers have grown. We used to have 35 or so.
Yeah.
Now they've gradually gone up from 35 to 50.
Yeah.
We
No.
do grow.
I can confirm that as well. What Nan just said. So it's only a couple of years ago that we had definitely left. It has grown. So we are definitely accommodating for the growth. You know, it wasn't 50. It was 50 last year, but the year before it was less. So yes, we are definitely accommodating it, and obviously for the next number of years ahead of us. I'm pretty sure that is what is considered when the decision is made, how many vacancies that we make available for our PGY ones.
What are the top key things that you look for in an applicant during the ranking process?
One of the things is what that we do consider, for instance, is those who really want to come to Waikato. We find it very important that they have a support structure, you know. So, for instance, if you grew up in the Waikato area and your family is based here, you know, and you want to return, you've been down in, let's say, Dunedin for your period, the period for your studies. What will happen is that a lot of people actually want to return home. So that, you know, we do consider that, for instance.
If you've been a TI here?
Yes, if you've been a TI here, that's another thing. So if you've done your TI here with Waikato, we also consider that, because a lot of the TIs actually knows your way around. And we've also found that a lot of the TIs that we've now appointed, the ones that came in, they, for instance, did put Waikato up as their first choice, which is really great, you know. So that's the other thing. It depends on who you put on as your first choice, not to say that you'll get it. But I think if you really want to come to Waikato, you're going to have to then basically, you know, put up your choices where it is you want to go, you know, whether it be first Waikato, then Auckland, and then somewhere else, for instance. Because that is definitely considered, I think, in the when they do the matching up, and that is outside of our control. That gets done by the ACE process. I think it's an automated process, in fact, that happens. You might be able to elaborate on that, Georgina.
Yes, so it's an electronic match algorithm. So basically, the first priority is that the algorithm tries to match the first choice of the applicant. Second priority is the ranking of by the district, and then the third priority is that the applicant can only be matched to one position or one district. This is one that we get asked often in the ACE inbox. Do I need a cover letter?
Cover letter does help, because it actually gives you a little bit of a summary of, you know, where the person's at and where they want to go. So it definitely helps. So yes, I would suggest that if you know, if it's up to the applicant, they are really welcome to do a cover letter. It does help just to give them just a brief overview, of the reason why they've chosen Waikato.
It helps us to understand motivational
Yes.
fit. Why are you choosing Waikato instead of Auckland or Dunedin or somewhere else? And I guess it's also your opportunity to tell us something that you can't easily capture in a CV, and something that you think might be important or relevant for us to be aware of.
Could you please expand on the simulation equipment available for teaching that was mentioned in the slides?
Yes, I can answer that. So we have a full clinical simulation unit here, very big. We run regular ACLS courses which is compulsory for PGY 1 or 2 during 2 years. No, PGY 1 actually, you will be doing ACLS course. It is run for SMOs and run for the GPs. And then we have, for example, I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon in our department. We run every maybe couple of months, we run suturing or some valve replacement, and it is all supported by them. We have fully equipped thing in our 4th floor in the hospital. For the PGY 2s, we run regular labs. I have taught on that one, 2 to 1. So for example, there are 4 stations. So I'll be running suturing stations. I'll be teaching 2 people. So really hand-on, I can supervise them and make sure. Then they go to lumbar puncture center where somebody will be teaching them hands-on how to do it. So our laboratory is quite all very well equipped, or everything is there.
We've done wet labs as well.
Yeah, wet labs. Yeah, many departments run wet lab. Like we run wet lab in cardiothoracic, and that's the wet lab we are talking about.
Thank you. Next question. Would you consider looking at international student CVs? Brackets Cat 3.
That's all part of the ranking. So basically what happens is, and I'm pretty sure it's also set out in the ACE booklet or the rules. So how it works is the ranking. There's 3 types of rankings. So first will be if you're a New Zealand citizen, they would be ranked first. The second one would be if you're an Australian citizen, and then thirdly, your international students. Usually what happens is if there's not enough positions to place all of our candidates, and I'm talking about the ACE candidates all over the districts, they will go into that pool. And then we will first exhaust that pool before we actually go outside. So the ACE candidates are definitely our priority.
And in answer to that, we have used the talent pool significantly in the years that I've been an RMO unit leader. So we're more than happy to take motivated, enthusiastic international students, but we have to do it through the ACE protocols.
Yes, thank you, Tina. So in the past few years, we've actually cleared the talent pool within, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, maybe. So, yep, we definitely, I'm sure the district will hire extensively from the talent pool. Cool. So I think that brings an end to our webinar today. If anybody has further questions, feel free to drop me an email at rmo@acenz.net.nz. Yeah, don't worry if you didn't have a chance to ask a question here. I will now close off with a closing karakia. Kia hora te marino, kia whakapapa pounamu te moana, hei huarahi mā tātou I te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou I a tātou katoa, hui e, taiki e. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.